What are you most grateful for? I'm grateful for my babies. Like, these guys came into my life for a reason: to love me and to stress me sometimes, but to love me mostly. They love me quite a lot. Maybe because I'm their mother, but also I think because they're just nice people. They're 2.5, so they probably not yet have choices, but they do. They're very different personalities. Oh, someone actually gave me feedback about I'm talking about my children quite a lot. So but because family is a very important value in my life. My friends, my nanny, woo, these have been amazing people who have really provided opportunities for me to grow. Um, my children have been sick most of the year. Last year, I remember December 27th, 2021 is the first time I went to hospital because something was happening, and December still 2022 we were in hospital trying to figure out what was going on. So it was quite a stretching year. So when I say I'm grateful for them, it's because we have gone through some things that have shaken us. And the bit about them having similar DNA in the same twist and turns, except for personality, is that they go through the exact same thing at the same time. Mothers and parents of multiples, you understand? And even if you're an auntie and uncle, you have seen, or even friend, you have seen when they are deciding to cough in 20 minutes, please go to hospital together. God, wow. I know I say this and it so sounds cliche and it so sounds like someone asked me today who didn't know me quite well and was like, "You're a mom of twins. How do you do it?" And I'm like, God, I don't know how I don't even know how I'm sitting here without God. Because sometimes you just walk out the door and you have left sick children in the house and you have prayed for strength for them and you have prayed for strength for your nanny and you've told God, Aki, just lift the burden, just kidogo, so enough for them to have a good day and so that they can have good sleep. And then you get home, you're tired from having a long day being shouted at from the topmost manager to the last. They've just screamed at you because you wrote something. Anyway, I will actually tell you that story. How, remind me, how a whole senior management team, 5 of them, called me to insult me. All of them. And I was supposed to be given a warning letter because I kept quiet when they were all insulting me. Awa. Yesu ni Bwana. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for gainful employment. I was able to pay diapers and rent. Most important things. Also in 2022, and I do this every year, I'm adjusting myself. Every year, God has many names. And every year I choose one name that will hopefully be my strength for and my name to call him in any moment, in moments of pleasure, in moments of grief, in moments of confusion, in moments of being elated and ecstatic. Like every moment I know I could call him this, and in that moment he would be a personal God to me. And for me last year, he was Abba. He was dear daddy. He was my dear God. He was my dear father. You know how you call your dad? My dad passed on probably 13, 14 years ago. And I have hardly had someone to call dad for a very, very long time. And since my divorce, yeah. So for me last year, I needed God to be a father to me and therefore be a father to my children as well. Like physical, present, felt presence. And oh my days, he really was Abba for us. So for this year, I'll tell you when we're planning for 2023, what his name is to me this year. Also, to love and to be loved. Hey, important. Um, I was watching a video today about this gentleman who's going around asking couples if they can see he can see phones and see if they're cheating on them. And one of the words he was looking through their phones was love. And I was like, oh my days, you will find so many people that I tell I love you just because I know the value of life. Because I do not want to say to a casket and say, RIP, I love you. May I tell you when you're alive? I give you your flowers, as Ngige says. I give you your flowers when you're still alive. May I give you my love when you're still alive? I will tell you and I will end it in I love you. So please note, please know, in 2022, I knew what to love and what to be loved felt like and meant to me. Now, 3 of your accomplishments. What did you achieve in 2022? I will really run through this. Oh, okay, I've actually run through this. In 2023, I had a life coach moment at the point where I felt, my foundation was falling apart. So I had a life coach moment with Nyashoba. I will also put her contact at the bottom so you can, I'm not sure if she's taking clients right now, but I had a life coach moment and it really, P.S. I also have life coach experience and training, but I felt I needed another year. You know, sometimes mganga hajigangi. I finished my postgraduate diploma with children on my hips. Let me tell you, those Saturdays and Sundays were difficult because I didn't have a nanny. It was just me and my totos. And fam, I did nothing. I went to no parties. I went to no events. I was just home, me and my children. My children even knew my professor's voice. Like they would come and attempt to talk to him because I'm changing diapers, I'm feeding, I'm doing assignments on my hip, children on my hip, and I'm doing group discussions. Hey, yeah. To be a friend. I learned to be a friend. I learned the value of standing by my friends. And I was very proud of that moment. I safely transitioned into a new work environment. And I read a book. So I felt that those are my accomplishments. So who helped you achieve these? So I will not mention names, but I just want you guys to also, of course, Nashoba, I said, my PGD class. Next, 3 biggest, not big, biggest, you know those things that looked elephant, biggest challenges in 2022. For me, as I said, my boys were quite unwell most of the year. Every month we were in and out of hospital. Who helped you in this moment? Friends that became family, whether they're Kibenda, lots of love. EMC, Pia Wewe. My sister, asanteni sana. The doctors, the nurses, the people who we sang Baby Shark until there was no Baby Shark to be sung. When those MRIs and all those things were being done, asanteni sana. Ooh. What have you learned about overcoming when you overcame all these things? And even right now, I'm like, God is my solution. God and a steady and sturdy support system. Important. You cannot, as a parent, as an alone parent, as even as a couple, you really need this type of support. Now, let's go to forgiveness. 2022 carried deeds and words from people and circumstances and situations that caused hurt, that brought burdens. And sometimes you feel, yes, the year calendar has changed. Yes, night has become day. But you carried the burdens with you. They're right here. And you need to do 2 things. Forgive and let go. So that at least you give yourself an opportunity to enjoy and experience a new calendar without carrying traumas, pain, and circumstances that force you to be a different human being and experience life differently from what it is that you are required by God and yourself. So I want you to forgive yourself. I want you to forgive people and situations that you had nothing to do with or you had something to do with. And you are the perpetrator, you are the victim. Forgive. So take a piece of, still in the same journal. Let me tell you, unaona vile hizi pages ni mob, tutajaza. By the time we're 31st 2023, we will be rejoicing in that God has brought us this far. Take a clean page and write at the top, I forgive. I forgive myself for. I forgive X for. I forgive Y for. I forgive X for. This process, I don't want you to hurry this particular process. This particular process is very emotional. This process will force you to dig deep. This process can be done in your bedroom, can be done in the toilet, can be done anywhere. But I really need you to go intently and keenly. We can have a session, maybe, if you guys want, and we can have a forgiveness session. It starts with you, because forgiveness is drinking the poison that you want someone else to die from. It is cutting yourself hoping that they hurt. Forgiveness is the one key for living free. And then, let go. Last year, I was quite angry at myself for ignoring a particular... I did not consciously know at that moment that I was ignoring this relationship, but I was so overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by work. I was overwhelmed by a long distance relationship. I was overwhelmed by children being unwell. I was overwhelmed by, it just felt chaotic. And this one person not replying to my messages was one less thing to think about until much later in the year. And I was like, my sweet Jesus, I have not spoken to person X for X amount. I was like, wait, how long has it been? And by the time I was reaching out, I was like, we are currently very different people. And letting go has not been one of my weakest things. I am a professional letter goer. I learned from a program. I used to really hoard people. I used to carry people quite some bit. But I learned how to walk light. Because, seasons and times and seasons, honestly, can make you, especially when you're a parent, a new parent and an alone parent, even as a couple, and when you've gone through life and you doubt yourself and you're an empath, life can happen. So I really needed to forgive myself, and I really needed to release my anger in I did not support this person in the way that I wanted to at that time. And I realized I didn't have the capacity. I did not have the capacity within myself, and I was already drained. So even if I gave to her, I would have given her the bone of my back. And I was like, it is actually fine. The last thing I want us to do is 3 words to describe your 2022. For me, my 3 words were Abba, because he was my dear father. 2022, I found balance. 2022, I was thankful because I also had a raining song. Those were the 3 words that described my 2022. If there was a book title or a movie that would characterize and close my 2022, it would be Chase of the Little Ones. I chased Totos, I chased self, I chased little things. I didn't chase major things except for school, but I did it in biteable chunks, in small pieces that I felt when you catch a small thing, it's easier to catch and collect. And when you look back and you look over your shoulder and you see, wow, I achieved so much because I was chasing little. So the last thing is Kwaheri 2022. If there's anyone you need to say goodbye to, if there's a situation that you need to say goodbye to, if there's a circumstance, what's the difference between circumstance and situation? Should I discuss your kwa Instagram? If you need to say goodbye, this is a time. not that you take your phone and call them. This is the time. Put it on paper. I need to say goodbye too. I'm thankful for the time that you had in my life, the contribution that you made. But from here, I'm moving on my own. Thanks for watching. This is Sitara from The Tomatoes and I, Sunshine and Butterflies. Till next week. God bless.